What's going on, guys? Aaron Guyett, Master Coach and Education Director here on the Living Fit show. And I have the incredible pleasure of talking with my friend Jordan Harder. So I met Jordan. He was out of Seattle. I met him up in Vancouver. He was moving and shaking up there, but he wanted to move and shake even more. So he went to, I guess, where fitness often moves and shakes. He came to Southern California, he did a little stint in San Diego, and now he is in LA. But before we get into sort of his clientele and all the rad stuff that he's doing, I always want to know like how people got into fitness. And oftentimes it's a similar story, but sometimes there's some surprising twists and turns. So Jordan, yeah, how did you get into this thing called fitness?
Great story. I mean, it takes a couple of different ones, like, just moving, playing sports through high school, through college. But the biggest thing that got me into training, into fitness, into the lifestyle for sure was breaking my wrist. I broke my wrist the week before graduating high school. I was longboarding straight downhill. The road ended in a little T, and I was like, oh, I can't make either of these turns. It was at night, not the smartest time to go move around or longboard or any of those. Wiped out, broke the wrist, and the doctor was like, hey, you need to be in a cast for 3 months. And I'm like, that's not going to happen. It's summer. It's my last year before going off to college. I was supposed to play college lacrosse, and I was like, how do I come back like Superman? How do I come back just that next level? And I just dove into the nutrition, the training. It told me you shouldn't sweat too much. I was like, no, I'm going to go run and just do whatever I could. One arm, got into like P90X videos, the insanity, all those. And that took me down rabbit holes that led me to training with you in Vancouver, training with your Franco, all these just really cool names that taught me a lot. And I just absorbed from YouTube free content. And now we're in LA.
Yeah, man. And so, yeah, tell me about LA a little bit. So I obviously when I was talking with you and then watching your Instagram, I see athletics, right, and sort of programming performance for athletes, but I know that's not just it. So kind of what is your normal clientele? What's your niche if you have a niche, and then what are you tending to do in LA?
Yeah, so I tell people I work with everyone from pro athletes to grandmas, and that's really my clientele is everything right in between. Whether it's like some CEOs that we work with out here at Sweat 60, some minor league guys, some pro guys, but really how I break down movement, break down training in general is treating everyone like an athlete. If my pro guys, if they're stiff and sore at going to go into their games, they're not going to play well and they don't get paid. The same way the grandma, the CEO is, if they're stiff and sore and bulky, and they're not going to be, they don't get, if they hurt their back even, they don't get to go to work, which means they don't get paid and they don't get to train. So it's one of those that I treat everyone like an athlete from the idea of performance first, feeling really good, that longevity side, as well as like, let's build some muscle. We know that helps performance. We know that helps us feel good, and like looking like an athlete, they have muscles on them. It's a big part of it.
Yeah, and obviously in LA, I'm guessing there's a few people, maybe almost every person, right, has some sort of aesthetic, goal or result that they're trying to go after. But clearly, athleticism is more than just aesthetics, right? So how do you give them what they want while also giving them what they need?
And that's a huge point is everyone in LA is looking for aesthetics. Everyone wants to look good, whether it's the guy with a little fat tire around his belly. He's like, I want to lose this. Cool. Let's do it. We'll get the ropes out. We'll get the kettlebells. We'll push. How you blend it, that's a tricky question in a lot of ways, but I tell people get strong. Get strong. Let's learn, like, get conditioned. When we're conditioned, you can burn fats. You can look like, that's the biggest difference. And one of the reasons why I love training with you up in Vancouver was learning the hard science that I learned in school with conditioning and being able to apply it in different ways to ropes, and then taking those ropes and learning from Joel Jamieson learning bikes, rowers, and just being able to apply it. So it's blending that strength and that conditioning, not just how it was when I was playing in college ball. Is like we run laps and we go lift weights and then we go to practice. It's like there's science and little nuances to that actually make the results so that you can perform the way you want to.